Hello and welcome to another video. Today I'm going to be giving my first impressions on the DeathAdder version 3 Pro and giving a little bit of a comparison with the version 2 DeathAdder. And I'm not going to be going super into detail about the version 2 that I have because I've already explained it in the review. However, in that review, I did squeeze the mouse too hard and I realized that, but I'll get into the build quality a little bit later. But for now, the version 3 is so much better in terms of click feeling. So much better. I can't understate this. It feels so much better. I mean, just listen to the sound of the clicks. You can just hear how tactile that is and then compare it to the version 2. Yeah, it's so much more mushy and it just sucks. And about that build quality thing where I was squeezing too hard, I'm not going to squeeze hard at all just to prove how bad the build quality is on the version 2. And a lot of people have the same problem as well. So no, I'm not like shaking or anything or really just squeezing the mouse super hard. I'm just bottoming out the switch and it's super creaky and it just does not feel good at all. The build quality is shit. It just feels like it's going to fall apart. And same with the switches, as I've already stated, they are not tactile. They're super mushy. They have no tactility to them. The only part that I actually kind of like is the side buttons. And that's because they're huge and they also don't feel that bad. Rather than that, maybe the scroll wheel as well, but even then, it's a little bit too close to the shell for my liking. And so it's like not even that good, and just everything just feels very cheap, and it doesn't feel that good. And then compare that to the DeathAdder version 3, which feels great in hand, and you'd expect so for $150. Yeah, this is a pretty expensive mouse, but it feels pretty good in hand, besides one kind of weird thing, and that is the coding. And that is just because I probably just haven't gotten used to it yet. Because as I said, I just got this. This is first impressions. So the coding is going to feel off because it is kind of a rough surface to it. It has like a kind of chalky texture feeling. It just feels a little bit off to me and a little bit weird. But that's just a nitpick and I could probably get used to it. In fact, I probably will get used to it as I use this more. And also, the one other slight nitpick I have with it is just the top side button. It has this kind of springy sound to it. Now, funnily enough, this did happen on a lot of other mice I have. For some reason, it's always the top side button that has this weird, like, kind of springy sound in it, when the bottom one doesn't. And that's the same with this mouse. There's no springy sound at all. It is just the post-travel that you hear, really, and the overall, and the actual click. But also, the scroll wheel, I do love the heightened scroll wheel. It's so much easier to just make contact with the scroll wheel and just easily scroll that. I do think it is a little bit I do think it should be a little bit more tactile, but rather than that, that's not like a nitpick or like a huge issue with me. That's just a personal preference. That's not like a nitpick, oh, I have an actual issue with the mouse. No, that's just personal preference. And also, just as I said, the clicks feel great. They feel tactile, and I'm glad that I actually have a different mouse to use to play Geometry Dash with, because for the longest time, I had that dog shit version 2, and that was the only mouse I could play Geometry Dash with, because that's the only mouse I had that couldn't double click at all, and now I have a better mouse. So I'm glad that I can actually play Geometry Dash now. And also, the shape is so much different from the Sora, and I just brought the Sora up here just to compare, because they are wildly different. I mean, just compare like the side, because this is a ergonomic mouse and this is just a symmetrical mouse. But yeah, it's massively different. There's a lot more palm contact with this mouse, while with this, it just kind of feels a little bit short to me. But I actually kind of like symmetrical mice better, but I will probably get used to ergonomic again. I did use ergonomic mice for a while, and with that thumb kind of contact there that feels a little bit awkward, I will probably get used to that as well. But rather than that, that's basically it. Oh yeah, you can see the sensor on the recording, but you can't see it I can not see it in person. But yeah, that's basically it, and I'll see you guys later. Goodbye.